to introduce and help me to welcome Max Dupont.
You are the dancing queen, young and sweet, only 17. The year is 1975. We enter a smoke-filled University of Laval that's in Quebec. My mother, a young and ambitious woman, Carol Dupont, is entering university to do not one, but two separate bachelors. One in politics and the other in journalism. The first couple of years go by smoothly, so smoothly. During the summer and spring, she works at different agencies of the government that include Revenue Quebec and the Hunting and Fishery Ministry. Things are running by so smoothly. At the end of 1977, the most incredible thing happens. Her heart is captured. She falls in love. A smooth operator named Francois, a Central African young man studying economics, cleverly captured her heart. And this is what he did. Excuse-moi, est-ce que tu es l'ami de Carole? Oui, bien sûr, tu es l'ami de Carole. J'ai son cahier, elle m'a passé ses notes. Ah oui, mais j'ai pas son numéro, je l'ai perdu. Est-ce que je pourrais avoir son numéro, s'il vous plaît? And that was all made up. He didn't know her at all, and he got my mother's number. And then he called. Oui, allô, Carole? Oui, ta copine, elle pense qu'on ferait un très beau couple. Moi aussi, je pense qu'on ferait un très beau couple. Je pense aussi que tu es intelligente. Tu veux me rencontrer pour un café? 7 months later, they got married.
Wow.
At the prestigious Chateau Frontenac. As smooth and as exuberant was their marriage. She graduated from politics or journalism in 78. And then, right after graduating in 79 from journalism, she was hired and became one of the youngest regional coordinators of the environment at the time. She was 22, all her peers were 9 years older. She was in charge of the northern region, which includes Baie-Comeau and Sept-Îles. She was pregnant while she was there, and she had my older half-brother over there. So he grew up with the Aboriginals for the first month. But then they returned back to Quebec City. She signed up to do her master's and was doing a master's and working at the Center of International Studies and Cooperation. Everything was going so smoothly until it wasn't. You see, everything was going well in the career, but something very serious was happening in terms of the romantic relationship, the sexual aspect. It had been over 7 months that there was either no sex or hardly no sex. And it's kind of funny, but it's not. And what was happening is my mother's genital area wasn't healing properly, so it was just too painful. And so this is what happened. Tu m'aimes plus. Tu m'aimes plus. On fait pas l'amour, je comprends pas, tu me dis des histoires. Ça n'a pas de sens. Les femmes dans mon pays, ça prend quoi? 4 semaines, 6 semaines? Tout est en marche. Toi, tu me dis quoi? C'est ça, tu m'aimes plus. Je m'en vais, je pars, je m'en vais à Nouveau-Brunswick, faire ma maîtrise, c'est tout. And so he left. He left, he abandoned his child to do his studies because he felt unloved. On her side, could you imagine someone, the person you love, thinking you don't love them and leaving you because of a physical problem that seems to be a fantasy? Nobody else has it. And that's what happened. And from that very moment on, her life was shattered. Her master's, that went down the window. But here's the thing. The problem that she had was caused because my grandmother took a little pill that was prescribed to her while she was pregnant with my mother. A synthetic hormone. The doctor said it would prevent miscarriages. But in fact, it was never scientifically proven to do so. In fact, it was never even tested on humans. In fact, the studies with the animals showed two things. And those things were, they made females whiter, and the second thing, it deformed them in this area. The doctors in the system irreparably damaged my mother. Now I can tell you growing up with a mother that I couldn't depend on. Going to school, of course for me it was normal, but going to school without breakfast. Learning to make my own lunch, my own supper. I became very mature. At 10 I was a pretty good cook. Doing the groceries, because I couldn't depend on my mother to do the groceries. So I would take her card, take her net, do the groceries, cut the coupons. I can tell you that my earliest memory that I have of my mother, or my earliest memory right now, is when I was 5. I was in a snowsuit, lying down, and she was arguing with my older brother, who's 5 years older, and she just couldn't take it, and so she was threatening to kill herself with a knife. Now, while I was younger, I never once blamed her. I think unconsciously I knew she had been damaged. I never asked really anything of her. I just took it upon myself to do what I had to do. Most recently, I learned that all of this is because of the government. Because the government wasn't looking out for her. Because of a little pill. And because of a little pill, my life was irreparably damaged. And so I'm telling you, before you listen to your doctors or your government, think twice. Do your research, do your own homework, find someone you trust and that is competent. Because you too, your parents, your grandchildren can be irreparably damaged. Thank you.